The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is...
This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't...
See? They've got great discipline.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit.
No. What I meant to say is...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steamboat.
We're here today to report and archive some information.
Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on a
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is...
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet.
It's all right. Please let me know how...
So you're not...
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearance.
I see. In that case, please wait.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in... There are no records of him either in the files...
Traveler? What if it...
Is that so? All right.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you... Your father, Callus, was a truly
And what? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, you even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the in your eyes, the value of a human life, if you truly regret my father's death. Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing everything? Was hanging on. There are still so many things I never got to tell. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alive. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you wouldn't. Oh well. In any case, my apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you...
I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when...
Now that I think of it, on the day my
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered in the rain. That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true Yeah! And if that's what it had...
I really think I found a true All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead...
Yeah! We're gonna make progress!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do... Great. Let's go then.
The weather is lovely and warm. Things are about to start getting lively again. Whoa! What a huge ship!
There's no need to be so surprised. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began after... Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and you said before that you still had some business.
About that. It's because my partner here... You still remember, right, Melus?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened?
Yeah, of course. Many years, at a glance, it was a kind of drink...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned in...
Yes, he did. Considering if you drink synth for an extended amount of time, and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience... As he oversaw Poisson, my father was...
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath. Not only that, Boss became determined to fight...
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret, and the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed that night. My father hosted a banquet at his... But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? And looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue... Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra... You're right. We still don't know what happened. But
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past. I think this third person... On that note, however, even though this will not... Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are even though Spina di Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new... There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise...
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have... Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, what was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his... Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since... I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite...
So you do know something else, Melus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, but what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he... And the serial disappearances case. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed, but as long as you remained safe, he would not... If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would...
Right. So nobody would be able to get...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long...
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look...
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard. Especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as...
So he chose to die in silence.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling, I'm sure he'd be
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precise. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, what was the key evidence?
It's the location where synth is produced when he was threatening the enemy, but if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious... There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We all... But a single visit to their headquarters, the worst case would be that we leave empty...
Then, in that case, why not?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case.
That's true. But things are different now. It should be...
You sound like you've put a lot of thought
I am the butler, after all. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability...
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite... When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to... If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled after several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent, Spina de Rousseau.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, there's someone else like him too. Marcel.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to... In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're...
So, they're like a sister organization of
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against... It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between... Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities...
I see. These are to think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry.
Of course. And thank you.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also... After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Aw, thank you so much, Malus.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
Yep, they might have it good for a while, but it ain't.
It is settled, then.
Thank you for arranging everything. Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina...
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of...
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly... I know. Only the full truth could bring closure.
I'm sorry. I appreciate that. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter...
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he tried to be as careful as he could. But even so...
They found out about it.
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell...
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that... I don't know that for sure. But you could... Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband.
But Mama, why is Papa still the... Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always a...
Yeah, Papa was a
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do it, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a...
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me.
Thank you. And even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time...
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the...
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House?
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic?
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident, after my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So my first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my... But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was...
So you also remember too...
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure, but according to the guards, that doesn't mean he... About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques. Or...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying, Mr. Callis... But hold on. If that's what it... He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. I'll tell you everything.
I understand. Then, and if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis, the unfate... Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis. But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the... No matter what others might say. He'll always be the...
Don't worry. I will definitely... You and all our other comrades at the Spina... Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now.
Oh, so you...
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also...
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that?
I mean, where I work, Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina, it would be next to impossible for me to find a Anyway, enough.
Ah, yes. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be... If you want to go through the original file...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Without... Why do you ask? We definitely can't...
Well, you see, just recently, we were... So... if you, hypothetically...
Then you think... If I had to make an analogy... When you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might... So I can promise you, those mecha were they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so...
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please... Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the
Yes, I've never...
Oh, you were at the...
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to be...
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as...
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that...
Yes, I was reminded of your father's...
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamax. And there was also, if not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were... Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself.
Sounds good. Just let me know if all my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll...
We've talked to all 3 suspects.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right. Flora mentioned that Callus probably only had...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he... If I had to guess, he probably...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be... Makes sense. Besides Jacques, the attack from the it's obvious that our enemy...
Do you think he knew, even then?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh. It is Pop, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha.
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha? If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how.
Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also... Still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own... Florent? But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly
So you're saying he's too broke to afford him?
Exactly. He can't. And... who could it be? You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know...
Malus has always been very reliable, and the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs. Has the... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there, we need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging...
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking...
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the...
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got...
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartak.
What?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit.
Wait, how? None of our...
That's what I thought was strange about it. So I came to tell... If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to...
Right. Because they'll...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot...
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as it... Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, You're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to...
We'll help you, just like...
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Malus, Silver, when...
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that your confidence...
Thank you so much. Then...
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location is already...